Journal Night.
Good evening, everyone. We're here with the match reaction to Rangers versus Queen's Park in the Scottish Cup. I'm joined by Scotty, who's going to pour over basically what that was. How you doing, Scotty? All right?
Hey, been a lot better, mate. Been a lot better. I think I've been through all the emotions that you can possibly have as a human being this season, especially the Rangers. No disappointment, excitement in Europe, different things like that. But now I'm firmly in a laughing stage now because that was just. I've not even get words for it, to be honest with you, Tomo.
I think I know exactly what you mean. We've been putting together some results, some performances. Things are starting to look up, and then all of a sudden something like this comes in. But it's been happening. It's been happening sort of the last 18 months or so, isn't it? Where we do look like we're suddenly getting somewhere, then all of a sudden we'll pull a result like this out. And first of all, fair play to Queen's Park. They came with a game plan. They were set up well. They defended solidly, and when they got their chance, they took it. I think, like you say, you're at the laughing stage, and I think that's where I was. I don't know, it just felt inevitable today when it was 0-0 at half time. It just felt that it was going to be one of those days. I think first half it looked like a training game. What did you think of that first half, Scott?
Well, firstly, welcome to all our new viewers. There's some in the comments. Please hit the subscribe button to the channel. It's free and it doesn't cost anything. First half was passive. It was wasteful in possession. We didn't do anything with the ball. Mohamed Diamande came away with a weak shot. Hamza Agaman was ineffective up front, lack of service. No control in midfield. Defence, it was what it was. We seemed to be back to that kind of horseshoe fipper. The safety ball, I call it with Rangers. It's very centre backs getting plenty of passes to each other, getting to know the ball fairly well without it travelling forward. Vakar Cherny kind of managed to nutmeg somebody and couldn't finish the opportunity. Bailey Rice coming off at half time, very surprising to me because I thought he was the only one in midfield that had an element of control over the ball. In terms of where it was going, I thought he was dictating the play. But hey, that is what it is, Tomo.
Yeah, I mean, recent games it seems to have been that we've had Dessers and Egerman up front, and it's sort of yielded results. They've been getting goals. We've been performing well. Why go and change it? I know it's against Queen's Park, and we should. I said earlier in the pre-match pod that the team we're putting out there should be enough to beat them. But obviously, hindsight's a great thing. We're on a run of decent results, half decent performances. Why change it? Why mix it up when essentially the cup is what we've got to play for this season?
Aye, definitely, mate, definitely. I've been on a good run of form, everything that kind of settled down. I'd been saying in the group chat, kind of as early as a day, saying that what's the point in bringing in a new manager at the end of the season when you need to get through all this kind of process again of if it's a foreign manager that comes in and needs to learn the league and learn lessons and all this kind of stuff. But see that the day is the final nail in the coffin, right? There can't be any comeback for that. There's absolutely nothing left to play for in this season. See if we keep a manager because of Europe, and fine, we'll have had good results in Europe. He got a bit of credit in the bank by getting top 8 Europa League, bringing some more money into the club, etc. See that today, Queen's Park. Now, I don't want to sound derogatory or nothing towards him, right? But Queen's Park, man, come on, see when you say it out loud a couple of times, it just gets even worse in terms of what the significance of what's actually happened today. What's happened today is probably the worst result in Rangers history. I can't see it. I know we've been beat off Berwick Rangers and things like that before, right? But Jesus, at home at Ibrox, where's the standards went? Where's the who on that park today looked as if they were going to try and grab it and lead the team? Certainly wasn't Tav. Tav's not to blame for this sole result because of a missed penalty. The blame lies with the manager because ultimately it's him that puts the players out the park. And then the players have got to go out and carry out his instructions and play to the best of their ability. We've got the second biggest budget in Scotland, right? And we couldn't beat Queen's Park today. This is like honestly like I say, the significance and the height of this and what's going to be said about these players, everything's warranted. Like that everything they get, they deserve it. If you ask me, Tomo, and as you say, congratulations to Queen's Park on a magnificent result for them. But Rangers FC need to have a long look in the mirror, and that's everybody in that football club tonight. Absolutely everybody.
Yeah, totally agree with you. It was saying in commentary that Queen's Park hadn't beat us since the 70s and 80s, and that was the 1870s and 1880s. So, 150 years, 140 years, and we've come to Ibrox and beat us. Second half, as you mentioned, Bailey Rice came off at half time. Thought it was a little bit harsh. I thought he wasn't brilliant first half, but nobody was. But he hadn't done really anything wrong. Dessers came on for, again, Bajrami. He was, again, fits and starts. But I think the second half, the strange substitutions was when Ridvan came on for Hadji. It's 0-0. We're needing a goal. And Hadji was looking like our player that was going to break their defence down, and he gets brought off for a left back. It's just more incompetence from the manager. Why are we bringing on a left back or an attacking player against a team from the Championship at home? It makes absolutely no sense, Scott. And as you say, there's got to be questions asked. We say we're sitting here and it's almost laughable now, but it's serious. Getting put out by a team like that at home, a manager can't survive that, surely, Scott.
No, definitely not. If he's not out tonight, then I dread to think what's ahead for Patrick Stewart and the board, because essentially it's going to come to them now as well. If they don't make this decision that needs made, there's not even a decision to be made, Tomo. See if you've got a manager in charge that's bringing on a left back for your most creative player, and he's been my most creative player since he came back into the team. The upturn in performances, results, it's all there to see for Yanis Hadji. He's come in with a bit between his teeth. He's a point to prove, and he's proven it over and over and over again. And he gets pulled off for a left back today. Who's managing this team? Is it the sports scientists that's managing it? Because they're saying he needs 45 minutes here and there. He needs half an hour. He needs this. He needs that. What they also need to remember is that we were still in a cup. We still had the slightest chance of domestic success this season. And if sports science are telling Clement to put Ridvan on for Hadji and he's doing it, it's like it would baffle me if that was the case. Obviously, that's a complete scenario I've made up in my head, right? But it also wouldn't surprise me saying Clement if the manager's being complacent by bringing on a left back for your most creative player, then that tells you that I'm not surprised with the complacency that's on the park, if that makes any sense. Because he's being complacent thinking the game's won by bringing Ridvan Yilmaz has offered nothing all season. He's offered nothing mostly in his time since he's been here. Right? He's a runner. He's an effective player in some scenarios. But overall, for fee and stuff we've paid, why bring him on for Yanis Hadji? It completely baffled me. And like I said, that's complacency from the manager making that substitution, thinking that we're still good enough to go and get a game won and get through to the next round of the cup. And that's what ultimately fed out onto the players in the park.
Yeah, and at the same time, he obviously brought on Suter for Fernandez. First real look at him, I say defensively wise, didn't really have much to do. What was your initial impressions of him?
I liked Dory. It looked a wee bit raw on the ball, but I think anybody that kind of comes in is going to look raw on the ball. There was nothing really to comment about the boys. he came in the first half. He managed to keep a clean sheet in that first half. That's about it for me. There certainly wasn't anything in his performance to make me form an opinion to say he was good, bad, or not bad, if that makes any sense. I thought he was pretty steady, Tomo.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There wasn't much to judge him on, really. As we got towards, obviously, Queen's Park, got their goal. Towards the end, we started showing some urgency. When we got into injury time, we're getting the ball forward quicker. We're getting it into the box. Why are we not doing that earlier in the game? Why are we keeping the ball, playing it in front of Queen's Park? And it's not just Queen's Park. We do it in other domestic games. And then when we go a goal down, we then suddenly go, oh, right, we better start getting the ball in the box. Is that, again, down to the management tactics, or is that the players thinking that, oh, we're going to get a goal here, we can just stroll about, and then when the shit hits the fan, basically, like, oh, we've got to do something.
See, when it's right, I look at it and see anything you've played football in your life, Tom, will see if your team's getting beat. You kind of, there's somebody in the team that will get a hold of the ball and try and change things, or somebody will try and take an element of control, right? No, that's just what happens in a game of football. A game of 5s, 7s, 11s, whatever. And that didn't happen on that football park today. And it's not been happening all season in certain aspects. When I'm looking at, before we even go 1-0 down, why is there no leaders on that park stepping forward why is there no somebody, I don't know, shouting at people, or just generally trying to make something happen? A tackle can get a crowd on side, a close shot can get a crowd on side, and then the narrative starts to turn, and the tempo of the match starts to turn. That's what I wanted to say. The tempo was null and void today. It wasn't there, and it also wasn't set by anybody. Wasn't set by the manager. Wasn't set by the captain. Wasn't set in midfield. Wasn't set up front by anybody winning a header or a close chance, or the wide men. Apart from Hadji, Cherny was poor. Cherny was absolutely rotten today. Tavernier offered next to nothing. Hadji offered something when he was there, but he was trying, but Ridvan came in, offered nothing. Bajrami, again, the invisible Albanian, I've been calling him on here for weeks now, offered absolutely nothing. So it's time to change this. Rangers need to go and get this changed pronto.
Yeah. And then obviously at injury time, we've had a few efforts. Propper's had a good effort where it's going in, but it's hit the defender in the head, gone out. Dessers has had one where I think he's done well. The keeper's made a good save. And then right at the end there, we get, in my opinion, a very soft penalty, which, again, the keeper makes a good save from. What was your thoughts on the penalty? Do you think it was a penalty, or do you think it was a bit soft?
A bit soft for me, to be honest with you, Tom. I didn't think it was. If that's given against me, I'm going off my nut. Do you know what I mean? I'm actually going off my nut if that's given against me. And then I thought, right, well, we've got half of one here, and Tav can't step up to finish it. It's a poor penalty. It's a comfortable save for a goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? It didn't surprise me that a penalty was given because of the incident, but captain's got to do much better than that. Much better. It just didn't look he left the keeper. It wasn't even in a corner.
Yeah, and then I think we had one more chance after that from the resulting corner, which again the keeper pulled off a brilliant save and tipped it over, and that was it. That was all she wrote. Out the cup for another season. Probably going to be another season of no silverware. Yeah, we'll wrap up. I don't think there's much more to say, Scott. It's been a disappointing day. We look like we're going to be on the right road, and then all of a sudden something comes along like this. Obviously, go into more detail on the podcast tomorrow night about the game, and just you're obviously, or a lot of fans now are thinking it's time for Clement to go. Is there anyone you can think of off the top of your head who you would like to come in, or is it just a case of get rid and then see what happens, see who's available and who wants a job?
I've said when Clement did go that Rangers have got a big decision to make. Now they either bring in somebody domestically, i.e. Dale McInnes, right, who knows the league, who can get us organised, get us a shape, get us winning in matches and get us closer in a domestic sense. Or we go down the route of we bring in somebody like Muscat who will give us an identity going forward, who's got a successful brand of football. Clearly because he's winning everything in China and Japan and anywhere he's been. So to me, that's a decision Rangers have got to make. Do you go and get a safer pair of hands domestically, or do you go out and bring in somebody and try and just build it? Like, bring in somebody that's going to bring in a brand of football so that when he leaves, we can then bring in a similar sort of manager. Apart from that, I'm pretty much at a loss, to be honest with you, Tom Lad. There's no stick out candidate for me. I wanted Muscat before Phil came in because of the brand of football. I thought that was going to be important. I thought Rangers needed something to entertain the fans and get us winning matches. And see, growing up when I was watching players like Avaladze and Amaruso and Caniggia, and it wasn't hard to beat a low block, right? Really wasn't hard to beat a low block. And like we've been playing against a low block for as long as I can remember in the league. It's part of the norm of being at Rangers is that you come up against that domestically because of the difference in class and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, my mate's in the comments. He's wanting Billy Davies brought in. Well, he's not wanting Billy Davies. He's just suggesting Billy Davies. This guy is wanting Billy Davies. That's worrying. But it's it's indifferent. Rangers have got a choice to make, mate.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, I totally agree. I honestly don't know. I've got to be brutally honest with you. I do not know. I mean, there'll obviously be people talking about a certain ex-Liverpool legend who's just become unemployed in Saudi Arabia. I'm guessing his name will get brought up, but I really don't know. Just at a loss at the minute. It seems to be the same. No matter who we get in, it seems to be the same script every time, that we can't beat these teams who, like you say, play the low block. It seems to be a massive issue for anyone who comes in. So someone with a different take, someone who's going to play a style of football that is attacking. And that's where, I don't like to say it, but the other team across the roads, when they brought in the likes of Postecoglou, that's how they beat the other teams. They ran over them and they attacked them because they knew they were better than them. And we need someone like that. Who that is, I don't know. Could be Muscat. But yeah, it's interesting times. And as I say, still, let's be positive. Still got Europa League. We can win that. We don't want to be too down on this podcast, Scotty. Let's have a bit of positivity. So we'll wrap up there. Thank you for everyone who's watched, who's commented. It's always good to get your thoughts. We'll be back tomorrow evening with a more in-depth look at the game, and I'm sure the guys doing the podcast tomorrow will have a few more things to say once the dust is settled, and who knows, we may well be looking for a new manager by the time that podcast comes up. So I'll say good night, and once again, thanks a lot, Scotty, and I'll speak to you soon.
Hey, well, Tom, cheers.
Thank you, guys.